All right, all right. Welcome back to another episode of the Yaktown Don't Back Down podcast. We are here on location at the Yaktown Don't Back Down clothing store. Today we have Marvin, skipper of Youth Are Bigger Than Life. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you got it right on the money.
Okay, man. Thank you for being here, my brother.
I appreciate you for having me.
Oh yeah. So let's just jump right into this comedy show coming up. Tell us about it.
So we got a comedy show Saturday with some of my friends, T-Bar, Comic J Will, who else we got? Angie. So like I said, we're just putting it together. We got an opening act too, K-Dub, I believe his name is. Just trying to, give back to the community I came from. So originally I was from Detroit, born and raised, grew up on 6 Mile and 75. Aspirations was to go to the NBA. Long story short, they wound up putting a defibrillator in my chest going into my senior year, going into college. So I had a defibrillator. So I couldn't. 2 goals I had was to move my mom out the hood, and then also.
That's like, I don't mean to cut you off, but I know that was one of my goals too.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it right now.
I moved my mama out of the hood we was at. I moved her into another hood, but it ain't where I wanted her. But you know what I'm saying? I semi-did that, and then like you said, I started the nonprofit to just, to give back. So
yeah. Okay, so how long have you been in the nonprofit space?
Since 2016.
And how has things been going for you?
I'm gonna say blessed, man. Like you said, my business partner, Craig Moore, we put all the money into it together, man. Like, shout out to Bree too, because Bree from the Karen group, she's like my backbone. Like, she helps me with stuff I need. Like when I do back to school drives, she gets the book bags, stuff the book bags, do all those type of things. So man, it take a village, man. And like you said, we just be spending our own money.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out a way to, either get grants or things of that nature. But I'm super impatient, man. I hate waiting. Yeah. So I just be like, all right, I want to do it. Let's just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like, what are some areas that you guys focus on when it comes to youth?
The at-risk youth. Because I grew up on 6 Mile. So, from gangs to drugs to prostitution, all that stuff just goes on in my neighborhood. At one point, my zip code was probably #1 in Detroit for the most homicides.
Wow.
So I just try to go back, give back to the kids, show them that you can be more than a drug dealer. You can be I work for Stellantis, which is a car store.
Yeah.
I'm an Alfa Romeo rep, so you can be me. Or I have my friends, like I got Detroit rappers who friends, and I just bring them to come talk to the kids. I got friends who was at one point in time running for mayor, sitting on city council, just showing them real estate agents. Just put all positive people around the youth so you can pick what you want to do, and then let me know what you want to do so I can plug you so you can do what you need to do.
So when was that moment for you where you was like, all right, I'm going to dedicate myself to the youth? Because I remember you just said like you had to have a pacemaker?
So I had to have a defibrillator, and literally it's so crazy, man. Like in February 25, they took it out. So I had that pacemaker in me for like probably 17 years, and they ran the same test, and I passed with flying colors. So they actually just took out the defibrillator that I got.
Nice. You said that you played basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
Eastern Michigan.
I didn't get a chance to play at Eastern. I played at Detroit Persian.
Okay.
So, I know you, if you're a basketball fan.
Yeah. So
you had the key Fablins. My teammate was Deshaun Sims. You had older guys like Arthur Johnson, Willie Mitchell, Winford Walton. Then you got younger guys like Kay Felder, Martez Mellon.
Yeah, Kay Felder was
that's
crazy.
That's my
Crazy. I remember his run. I remember him at OU.
Yeah.
Man, Detroit got a rich basketball culture. They got a lot of killers out there.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of killers, for sure.
For sure.
Going back to the nonprofit space, because I'm in that space as well.
Yeah, for sure.
What type of challenges would you say that your organization faces?
I think the most of the things is the financial is one of them, and then number 2. So I say this, and I love Persian, I love my neighborhood, I love everything that I do, but it's always so many steps. Like, for instance, I used to do charity basketball games. You got to go get a permit. You got to go get liability.
All them loopholes.
Yeah, just so many loopholes to the point where it make you like, I really don't want to do this, but then when I look at the kids, like, I got text messages from kids that just text me randomly, like, man, just thank you for being there for me, thank you for doing this, thank you for doing that. It motivates me to just keep going and just try to figure out how to miss those loopholes.
Yeah. Like, to your point of a charity basketball game, like I coach basketball myself, 3rd and 4th grade. My son, he's in the 4th.
Okay.
And we just did a parents versus kids basketball game on Friday. It was dope. Parents got out there. I was on the court. The parents won. We blew the kids out. Ain't showing them no mercy.
Okay.
But I wanna do a charity basketball game myself. And one of the things I've been thinking about is everything that you said, man. Is just jumping over them loopholes.
It's
And
worth
then
it, though. It's worth it. But I will say this too, man. Just from my experiences, I mean, I know the reason why you're doing it, but don't think it's gonna be like, all right, I can be able to get some financial money to help doing what I'm doing. Because, like you said, most of the time you're gonna go in a hole by doing these events. So that's what I have learned. And like you said, it could have been poor planning on my part. But like you said, I don't know. So I'm just going out there, just doing what I can, and see how I fall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things I would say, like in our communities that we face, is that financial backing when it comes to us starting nonprofits and doing community work. So I've been under the impression lately, man, is I call it going corporate. And what I mean by that is I see a lot of corporate nonprofits, doing the exact same thing that we do, but getting a lot of money for doing it. So I'm like, all right, let me go learn the game, find out what they doing it, because I'm doing it in my community. I'm from this community, and I'm not trying to discredit nobody that comes to our communities and do these things.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just want to go learn it so I can get the same opportunities that they getting, and then be able to provide them same resources to our kids, man, because our kids, they need those resources.
Listen, and I know we were talking before the show, we close in the same age, man. It's 60 times worse for the kids now growing up than when we was growing up, man.
Social media,
bullying to everybody want to be up with the Joneses. And then I'll share one story with you. I got one of my mentees, right? He's very, very good in basketball, but kind of like the streets got him a little bit. So everybody comes to me like, hey, man, Skip, talk to him, man. Skip, talk to him. I'm like, yeah, I can only say so much. So when I was growing up, my coach buying me pizza and taking me home was enough for me to listen and know that I can run through the wall for him. I pull up on my young dog. He pulling out $40,000 in cash. They going to Benihana's.
How am I supposed to help him?
And he in the scat pack. So when I told him, he was like, all right, I'll holler at him. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he respect me enough to listen. But at the end of the day, I'm just thinking about if I was that age with $40,000 on
Who would I listen to?
Scat pack. You know what I'm saying? So it's harder now because these kids is getting to that money.
Yeah. And I was just having that conversation, like, we have our kids, on the days that we have them in our programs, but when they leave us, they got to go back home. They got to go back to that life. Yeah. But like you said, what do you say to a kid that got 40 bands already in the scat?
That's what I'm saying. But of course, I'm going to kick it with them and out of respect.
Yeah.
But it's like, what can you tell a kid that got $40,000?
I'm going to be honest with you, brother. I wouldn't know.
All I can tell you is, hey, if I were you, this is what I would do. But he's gonna be looking at me like, Skip, man, blue 40.
But like, because you could say like, hey, you should invest some of that money. But what, they about 16, 17? Like, what can
what can you tell them? You know what I'm saying?
If I was in their shoes and I had 40 bands and a scat pack, I probably would hear my coaches. But I probably wouldn't be listening either.
But you gotta also think this too, though. When you're only 16 and 17, it's only so much investing and stuff you can do because you're not at age. You know what I'm saying? So now you gotta get your parents involved. And then a lot of times,
the bank's gonna know all that.
They're gonna know where that money coming from, what you're doing, who got it, and not talking down on anybody. But of course, because I grew up in a rural area, my mom was a single mom, so that's strike one, a single mom. My mom at the time was probably making $30,000, $40,000 when I was in high school. Back then, that was some money, but it wasn't enough money. So they're gonna look at you when you put it all on paper. You make $30,000 or $40,000 a year.
How did you just bring 40,000 into the bank?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard, but like you said, if you could just try to talk to them, which I do, like I say, they pull up on me, we kick it. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing is, all my mentees, I don't care how much money you got, I'm your mentor. Yeah. I got lunch. I got dinner. I got this trip. I got this. Put your money in your pocket because that's what was done for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's still tough. When I got
Like, I know you was talking about growing up in the hood, and we're talking about mentorship. Like, do you want to name and shout out some people that poured into you when you was coming up?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like that made you like, man, like just keep on the straight and narrow. You know.
I'll start off with this program. You're probably familiar with it, Reach.
Okay.
So it's religion, education,
I've heard of
athleticism,
that before.
character, and
Yeah.
hope. So Marcus Webster and V, shout out to y'all, man. I'm the godfathers, man. I still talk to Mark and V to this day. They put that foundation into a lot of us. A lot of these basketball players who come out of Detroit, if you go back to Jalen Rowe, they all was in this program. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to shout out them first. And then my high school coach, A.W. Canada. So he coached me all 4 years. And then, of course, when Keith and them won, he was the coach. And then he was there with K until K sophomore year. Then he left. Shout out to Waddell Henry. Waddell is another guy, too, as well, who's a mentor who just won Class B with Warren. Is it Warren Lincoln? Warren Lincoln just won it.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a village, man. I got so many people, my mom, my aunties, the dope dudes in my neighborhood who just was like, this ain't you, go home. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you play basketball. What you trying to do,
Like,
bro?
man, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Slapping me all the time. Hey, go home, man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't you. Which we don't have that now because guess what? The young fellas.
I say that all the time to that point if we don't have that now. Like, I remember just a time where, like you just said, like, bro, go home. This ain't you. Or you had them uncles, you had them cousins. They're like, oh, you doing what in school?
Yeah.
You know, like that piece is missing. And then sometimes even the generations, like, they don't have some of, I ain't gonna say all of them. They don't have respect for authority in most cases. Like, but like I said, like that piece, like you said, man, that piece is missing. Like, go home. This ain't you. We don't have too many people saying like, this ain't you. Like, what you doing is not you.
Yeah, because you got the social media. Everybody want money. Everybody want that money. Everybody want to be the big homie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Back then, I could just use this for my reference, right? Everybody respected the big homie in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
He might have been moving and grooving in the neighborhood, but he made sure grasses was cut. He made sure trash was taken out. Shit, I know my mama got some money for like numerous of times.
My big homies, I lived in an apartment complex, so they didn't really have time to like cut the grass and stuff like that, but their presence was felt.
Or I bet
Yeah,
you this.
yeah.
I bet you when the ice cream truck came when it came over there, they buy 100 and something ice creams for all the kids. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what's missing. We don't have grace no more. That's the word people is missing. There's no grace.
So yeah, shout out to everybody that poured into you, man. Shout out to Reach. What would be some advice that you would give to your younger self or to somebody that's listening right now?
I would probably took things a little bit more serious when I was young, right? So I always tell everybody the story when I'm talking to kids, when I'm doing speaking engagements. Me being a jock in high school hindered me in college. Of course, I was also fighting depression because I went from being top 100 players in the country to now I have a defibrillator. Now I can't play basketball no more.
That's tough.
So now I have to be a regular student. And guess what? When I was in high school, bro, my junior, my senior year, how many classes do you think I went to?
Probably none.
Exactly. They told me, what are you doing here? Go to the gym. You go to the gym. So when I got into college, man, it was a culture shock. One, and then two was like, I wish I would have took that stuff a little bit more serious back then, so I would have been focused enough to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Of course, I was going through the depression and all that, so that could have been like 60% of it. But if I would have took school a little bit more serious, I think I would have. When I was at Eastern, I wound up graduating with a 3.2 anyway. But I struggled the first 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So if I would have did better with that, I could have probably graduated with 3.6, 3.7.
And like the culture shock piece is what I try to explain to my son now, because you know most black boys, I want to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
And I tell him, I say, son, I'm like, let's get to college first.
Yeah.
Let's get to college first, get your education, and we'll look at the NBA after that.
Very true, very true. But it's hard though. It's hard though because of what you see. And then you got to also too, man. College. I don't know if you're paying attention now, but college is really breaking down to almost like a amateur.
Yeah, with the NIA.
Yeah. And then at some point, it's gonna be where, and I just read an article. I don't know how true this is, but they're gonna start making. They're gonna have to start putting the athletes as employees of the school.
Wow.
So if they start putting them as employees of the school, then guess what? They don't have to go to school. They're an employee of the school.
Yeah. They just gonna be going to get that cheese.
Yeah.
I ain't even look at it from that perspective, but the premise was just like, think about life outside of basketball, just in case. I try to, like, I know it's hard to instill having a plan B into somebody's life who's so focused on playing basketball, but I just know when I was his age, I said the exact same thing. Like, I want to go to the league. I want to buy my mama a big house. I want to get my mom out the hood.
Yeah.
And then when it didn't happen, it's like, all right, what else can I do? Like, what other skills do I have? So that's one of the things that I preach to my son is just, making sure you have a life outside of basketball. Going back to the comedy show, and we gonna close with this. When is it?
It's this Saturday, 5:25. Doors open up at 7. Show start at 7:30. Man, we're gonna have a good time, and like you said, laugh, and it's for the youth.
Yeah. And where we gonna be at?
This
Flag Star Strand.
I keep messing it up. I don't know why.
A lot of people do. It should just be it's sponsored by Flag Star.
Yeah.
If it would be better if you could say the Strand Theater,
for sure.
but it's the Flag Star Strand Theater. Youth Are Bigger Than Life, a Detroit-bred nonprofit organization, is set to host an exclusive charity comedy show at 7:30 p.m. on March 25th at the Flag Star Stand Theater. I almost messed up.
It's a tongue twister for sure.
I almost messed up myself. Located at 12 North Saginaw and Pontiac. If you not doing nothing, I don't know, is that Saturday?
That's Memorial Day weekend. So you are gonna be doing something. But when you're done with the family,
Yeah.
finish barbecuing, kicking it with the kids, pull up. It's from 7:30 to 9:30, 2 hours, and then you still got time to go club, party.
Yeah, come. Do they got like a meet and greet or anything going on?
Next time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Next time we're gonna do meet and greet. Like you said, this was the first one, so we're just trying to, get it off the ground.
And this is a charity event, man. This is a fundraiser to help Youth Are Bigger Than Life, man. So make sure y'all come out and support. Make sure y'all show up. You got anything else you want to say before we close?
You can donate if you can't make it. We got youthabiggerthanlife.com. Follow us on all social media, Youth Are Bigger Than Life. And I appreciate you guys. Yaktown, stand up.
All right, this has been another episode of the Yaktown Don't Back Down podcast. Until next time, we out of here, man. Y'all be cool.